Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you accessed the internet? I bet most of us have accessed it earlier during our breaks or during your idle time. In today's world, we have become increasingly dependent on the internet. It has become an essential part of our lives. According to statistics of wearesocial.com, out of 7.94 billion people in January of 2023, 92.3% or 5.16 billion people have access to and utilize the internet, using it in an average of 6 hours and 37 minutes. And you don't even notice that because you keep on scrolling TikTok. The internet gave everyone a platform to communicate. We communicate and give information real time. We can assert that the era in which people had to wait for television to flash news or print newspaper the next day by newspaper organization is long gone. If you want to get the latest news, go open Facebook, Twitter, or even TikTok. While internet has undoubtedly made our lives more convenient and connected, it has also led to a significant rise in misinformation and fake news. This is why fact-checking has become more important than ever. I have another question. When you read data online, may it be for entertainment, or seeking resources for your research or thesis or for additional information, do you validate information? What parameter do you use when you validate this information? Or do you just simply believe on what is written in it? Ladies and gentlemen, we live in an age where anyone can share information with the world at the click of a button. While this has its benefits, it has also made it easier for misinformation to spread quickly. False information and fake news can cause harm, especially in areas such as health, politics, and business. It can lead to confusion, panic, and even harm to people's health and safety. In fact, research shows that fake news can have a significant impact on election outcomes. It can polarize the public opinion and influence the way people vote. The spread of fake news during previous election has been linked to the polarization of voters in the dissemination of misinformation. Fake news stories can be designed to appeal to a certain group of people and reinforce their existing beliefs or biases. This can lead to a polarized electorate, with voters on opposite sides of political spectrum hold increasingly extreme views, creating an echo chamber. These led me to conduct a study and gathered randomly from 250 senior high school students of Davao City. Davao City is one of the biggest cities in the Philippines, and it is divided into 3 different districts. The number of surveys I conducted were allocated per district equitably. The result of my study shows that among all the indicators of internet dependence, frequency of time spent online got the highest mean of 3.90. This denotes that most of the learners spend most of their time on the internet in a day. The result also supports the findings of the research conducted by Kempt in 2021, when the number of internet users is growing at a rate of more than 5.5% per year worldwide. Although the rate of increase is substantially quicker in many developing countries, this implies that senior high school students or learners frequently access the internet, and that it indicates significantly high internet dependence. With regards to fact-checking, Personal perception and fact-checking got the highest mean score, which is 3.81, which can be interpreted as students have above average perception towards fact-checking. These results substantiate the study of Pennycook in 2021, where they found out that despite the fact that students find fact-checking to be time-consuming and sometimes difficult, they believe it to be increasingly important skills to have in today's world, as more and more information on the internet is discovered to be false or written solely to promote a particular propaganda campaign. The result also indicates that the relationship between the level of internet dependence and fact-checking among senior high school learners shows a positive correlation and significant results. It implies that the increase of internet dependence, or the more students become independent on the internet, it also increases their fact-checking. The result of my study proves that the mechanism introduced to our senior high school on how to fact-check information in their curriculum is somewhat helpful. But the question is, how about those people who are not aware of this mechanism? If you look at it, the problem is not our dependence on the internet, since whether we like it or not, our paradigm is towards the increased use of internet. We can't live without it. Moreover, the problem is not just with the people who spread false news, but also with those people who believe it. According to the study by Pew Research Center, 64% of adults believe that fake news has caused a great deal of confusion about basic facts and issues. That's very alarming. This shows that people are increasingly finding it challenging distinguishing between real and fake news. So, what can we do about it? The answer is fact-checking. Fact-checking involves verifying the accuracy and truthfulness of a claim of statement. It involves checking multiple sources, looking for evidence, and verifying the credibility of the source. Fact-checking has become more important than ever before, and is something that we can all do. The first step in fact-checking is to identify the source of the information. Questions like, is it a reputable source or a news outlet, or is it a random blog? If it's a blog, who is the author? Do they have a history of spreading misinformation? These are all the questions that we should ask ourselves when we encounter a piece of information. Next, we need to verify the information. This involves lateral checking, meaning checking multiple sources and looking for evidence. If the information is about a scientific study, for example, we should look for the original study and read it ourselves. We should also check if other credible sources are reporting the same information. Another essential aspect of fact-checking is to identify our biases. We all have biases, and it is essential to be aware of them when fact-checking. If we have preconceived notion about a topic, we might be more likely to believe information that confirms our biases and ignore information that contradicts our belief. Therefore, it is important to approach every piece of information with an open mind. One way to ensure we are getting accurate information is to rely on fact-checking websites. We can use them. These websites are dedicated to verifying the accuracy of claims and statements. They use a rigorous methodology and check multiple sources before publishing their findings. Some of the most popular fact-checking websites that we can use include Snopes, PolitiFact, and factcheck.org. In conclusion, the internet has become an essential part of our lives, but has also led to a significant rise in misinformation and fake news. Fact-checking is more important than ever before, and is something that we can all do. We need to identify the source of information, verify it, and identify our biases. We can also rely on fact-checking websites to ensure that we are getting accurate information. By doing so, we can help combat the spread of misinformation and make internet a more reliable source of information. Thank you.